Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Garrett. Today I'm bringing you a review for Bros. So Bros is the first gay romantic comedy movie from a big giant production studio. It's about two men with commitment problems attempting a relationship with one another, and I liked it. I'm not gonna say that Bros magically made me love romantic comedies. It did not, but I still had a severely fun, enjoyable time in the movie theater watching it. Billy Eichner has a writing credit for this movie. He stars in the film. You can tell that he had a lot of passion for making this movie. He understood what he wanted to do with this film, and I think they succeeded for the most part. Billy Eichner does a great job at this movie, as does Luke MacFarlane, who plays his love interest, Aaron, who surprisingly, if you go through Luke's IMDb, he does a ton of TV Christmas movies. Hilariously, this does take place partly in Christmas, so his career is just repeating itself over and over again. I hope you get more work, dude. That's different than what you've been doing. The movie is really funny and in a very specific gay way. There's lots of in-culture jokes that are just so hilarious. And it was completely realistic that way. Nothing they made fun of felt too out of sync with how gay culture actually is. I really love the characters in this movie and how much the film makes you care about them. There's a bunch of backstory you get to hear about these characters and how their queerness has affected their upbringing, their mental state right now, how they perceive the world, and how they think the world perceives them. They're complex people with complicated histories that makes them so interesting to watch and root for in this movie. On the note of humor, the development and payoff of running jokes throughout this film is really well done. I loved everything that comes to fruition in the end of this movie. It made it worth it. It made things that weren't maybe so funny at the beginning, made them so hilarious at the end. They completely went there with these sex scenes. I know the trailer shows some stuff. One of the TV trailers has a sex scene where there's like nipple enlargers being put on, and that's not actually in the movie. There was no holding back in it. I was amazed at how much a big production company was okay with putting this in one of their movies. And I know hetero rom-coms do this all the time, but you don't know what you're walking into with this one. I cried twice in this movie with these characters. That's how much I cared about them. That's how much their backstories made me feel. Thinking about my life as a gay person, I could relate to both of them, and that's what makes this movie so strong, is the writing for these characters. You just feel for them and empathize with them and want them to succeed. I know I'm rehashing this again over and over, but that was a standout of this movie. But slipping into some of the negatives, you can tell it's a comedy with its pacing. I think that is one of the major problems with this movie. It can feel really slow. The beginning of the film, the first act, takes a lot of time to start setting things up and getting the plot going. Maybe take 10 minutes out of this movie and it would be even better. I also wish it wasn't so one body type, one race specific in what the movie perceives as sexy. Yes, I know there's the hookup scene in the third act, and yes, there is a inclusivity and diversity in the cast in general. I also understand that the movie is commentating that gays tend to be with the same body types that they are in a relationship. You know, jock, muscular, huscular dudes will go for those same types of people, normally within the same race as well. But the movie never goes, oh, we see all these white, built jock dudes. Let's show you some bears, some twinks, some of those people maybe in other races as well. It doesn't go that far. And that's sad to see when in modern days, 2022, when this movie is made, we know how to be inclusive as a community. Maybe we don't do that all the time. I know the bear community has a really bad rap about not including people of color inside. So it's just sad to see this movie not going all the way. in that sense. I guess we do have Steve. Steve, I mean, he fills the twink role, but that sex scene was so funny. If you know what I'm talking about, I think you'll think it's funny too how awkward it was. That was maybe the most I laughed in this movie. I just want this movie to paint a fair picture about body inclusivity and racial inclusion and what it deems as sexy, instead of putting one specific body type and race in such a higher value, if that makes sense. And it's still just a story about a cis white gay man. So in the broad spectrum, it's not so inclusionary when different races and cultures have a different background to how gay people are. Yes, you can't fill that in this movie entirely. So maybe we can start making more if this movie makes more money, which currently it's only made 4.8 million. So go see this movie and give it money. We want more of these movies to be made. I don't want movie studios realizing there's no market for these movies, let's just not make them anymore. However, the stuff that it does hit with its characters about them being gay, the broad strokes of it all, I think every gay person will be able to feel these specific things. People telling you to be less gay, you know, you're just too much right now, you need to quiet yourself, you're too gay for specific jobs, the world is going to perceive you in some certain way because you're queer and are out about it. How the world will just try to silence you, and when you decide you don't want to be silenced, they belittle you for doing that. It's really important stuff that this movie hits. Along with, for the generation that this movie is made for, these characters are in their 40s, maybe early 50s, some of them. These characters lived through the AIDS crisis. They have had friends that are in the gay generation above them that were really going through that, and you feel this sense of community loss. There's an internal acknowledgement within the movie that we went through this really traumatic thing as a community, a culture. The world was against us, you know, queerness was so put down because of the AIDS epidemic going on. And so many people lost their lives because of that. There weren't the medications and things you can take now to make it not affect you. You can become HIV positive now, and there are medications and treatments you can take to become undetectable. It's not completely gone from you. We haven't found a full cure, but they are able to slow down the process from you getting HIV and then it turning into AIDS and then you having a full-on health situation then. So I like how heartfelt and somber the movie was in this moment, that it's accepting the history of queerness. And that's really what the movie is about. Bobby in this movie is trying to open the first LGBTQ plus museum about our history as a culture. He's doing it in a very dark way instead of making it fun so people want to go to this place. But it's just a lot of references, and it shows you people of queer history. Maybe this lets the younger generation want to seek those out and learn more about our culture. I hope so. That would mean this movie does a great thing. So Bros, in the end, is a romantic comedy, but it's all gay. And that's what makes it so awesome. It makes it so engaging and fun. As a queer person like myself, I found this movie to be fantastic. But technically, it's nothing new. The subject matter within it is all new. It's just packaged in a normal way if you've seen a bunch of romantic comedies already. There's one part where Billy Eichner starts talking like he's one of the bro dudes, and that's more of an interesting movie, I think, than most of what happens. If that was the whole movie of him using a different voice and acting different than being himself with a dude in it, maybe going well. I think that's more engaging, more plot heavy than what we got in this movie. But in the end, I'm gonna give Bros an 8 out of 10. I really like this movie. I hope we get more that are queer-centric. Just give me not depressing movies about how bad it is to be gay. Make it fun, make it engaging, make it not so evil-based. And the movie plays on that. It does talk about that a little bit, which I enjoyed. I'm gonna be really happy to own this movie at some point when it comes out. Have you seen Bros? Probably not. This movie hasn't made that much money, but if you have, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked this video, give it a like. If you like these videos that I've been making, please hit that subscribe button so you can see more, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!